you'll be terrified of the research if you go and do any research at all into what's going on. For those who don't know about 2030 Agenda, check it out. 2030 Agenda is scary. It's put in place by the World Economic Forum, and they are all crackpots.
And Larry Fink's just become co-chairman, hasn't he?
Right, imagine.
What could go wrong?
And who's the chairman who's just been put in charge? He's the guy who was in charge of Nestle, who turned around and said that we have no right to water as members of the public.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Quite sweet.
We need, yep, I'm just giving them out.
Cool. I've done loads with these guys. Darren's brilliant.
Yeah.
We've done loads with Darren.
Anybody who wants them, I've got a few.
Absolutely. Everyone should be reading that rather than the shite what they put out in the mainstream media. So, guys, thank you all for coming. I'm going to be here until tomorrow. So if anyone's got any questions, ask away. What I can say is, whilst there is a lot of doom and gloom, and I do say this, while there is a lot of doom and gloom around the food industry as a whole, we have travelled the country and we have seen some amazing projects that are in play. And I mean real amazing projects, from the smallest community farms we're setting up, 1-2 acres, to big community projects. Has anyone heard of My Little Farm? So the guys from My Little Farm, Keeble and Billy from Wild Minds, and then they're now setting up My Little Village, which is a 1,000-acre farm. There's more and more of these projects setting up across the country. We've travelled through Scotland, we've been given access to land all over the country to set up community projects. And I mean all over the country. Farmers saying, well, I've got 5 acres, 10 acres, 50 acres, 200 acres, whatever it needs to be, to get the public back on the land producing food. So the farmers are wanting to fight back, but they're not going to do it on their own. And if you want good quality food, there is no way better to get it than direct from farmer. And what I would also say is, if you find farmers that want to work with you in regards to, you know, like growing veg, let's say, as a simple thing, then talk to your farmers. You know, this ain't going to change because people say to me, don't worry, the people in the white hats are going to come and sort all this out. Let me tell you what I think, and this is genuine in my opinion. No one's coming to rescue us. This is down to us. And for most of us, we're all of a similar age, and when I started this tour, my concern was not for me. I'm 57, I've lived in a country where I have been blessed to always have food, water and shelter. I ain't doing this for me, but I have got kids and I have got grandkids, and that terrifies me. Which is why I wanted to do the tour, because I thought, well, if I can get through to a few people, you know, we've spoken in front of 20,000 people. Most of those are quite awake, and most of those have gone, Christ, didn't realise it was that bad. But then when we go back and see people now, we're 7 months in, and we've, you know, we was in Hereford yesterday, and some of the people come up to speak with us who we'd seen 6 months ago, and they're going, oh, we're now working on this community project, we're now getting involved in this, our farmers doing this, they're now starting raw milk. There's loads and loads of great stuff going on. So whilst it's easy to get lost in the doom and gloom, I would say don't. Know it's going on, be prepared for what's going on, but most of all, move forward and get your own systems in place. Because if no one's going to come and rescue us and it's down to us, it's really easy just to go, start on that next week. My mum's always saying to me, darling, you're completely mad. However, what I have noticed is when I go to my mum's now, the little cupboard under the stairs, what used to have the salt into the salt machine, is now stacked full of food. I went to, I'm going to say my bedroom in my mum's house, but went to my bedroom in my mum's house, and I went to put something in the cupboard because we were going away for another 8 weeks, and I was like, huh, stacked up with tins. Even the people what weren't awake are starting to wake up. And and what I love about the nonsense what's going on in the world at the minute, there's so much nonsense going on, whether you look at education being incorrect, health being incorrect, the food being incorrect, whatever it might be. All these different things are waking up people in different ways. Classic. My dad says to me in front of my mum, of course you do realise, don't you, they could have cured cancer years ago. And I said, well, yeah, I know that, Dad. And my mum says, don't be so bloody silly. Yet an aeroplane flies over and leaves a chemtrail, and my mum says, I can't believe they're doing that. And my dad says, you're mad. They're all on different journeys. They're all at different points in it, as we all are. But what I love about it is people are starting to wake up to different things. And it doesn't take that long once you start to wake up to put the dots together. And then you do realise, you know, if farmers have got that stuff coming down from above, and you've got a massive amount of aluminium on your ground, that, if you graze grass, can only end up in your animals. However, and I spoke to a guy called Hans Gunton, and Hans, in my opinion, is God when it comes to soil. And I said to him, how does this stand about this? And he said, well, the good news is if you've got really good fertile soil with lots of mycelium and bacteria in it, it can eat the aluminium. And it can take it and change it into a format that the plant can use. You know, I didn't know that. So while we can all go, oh my God, you know, the sky's going to collapse in on us, the farmers that are on this journey already starting to get their soil better, people who graze especially, are particularly good because they've got the cow slurry and that already on the fields. So their fields are already churning that through. But if you get a lot of the classic, we was down in Truro and we got invited to this beautiful clean farm that you could eat off the dairy floor, I kid you not. You could have ate off the cowshed floor anywhere you wanted. It was brilliant, beautiful. And the farmer said to me, he said, we've got this novel concept. He said, this is how it works. So, rule of thumb with cows, eat a third of the grass, shit on a third of the grass, and roll on a third of the grass. So what do they get to eat? A third of the grass. So they come up, I'll put this in place with them. They've got this revolutionary idea where they cut all the grass and take it to the sheds and feed it to the cows. So now we get 100% of the grass. The cows never go outside. They still class that as grass-fed.
Oh, wow.
You go in Waitrose, their beef still says grass-fed. It's not a lie. Might be a misinterpretation of the truth, but it's not a lie. So, make your decisions as you roll forward in the forthcoming weeks. Start to look at what you've got at home. Start to look at where you're going to buy your food from. You know, these guys have got a cracking little shop here. Very impressed. And I'm sure, they've all disappeared, but I'm sure that I think they've gone to milk the cows. But Ollie and them would be only too delighted to listen to what you've got to say about what you'd like to see in the shop. So, any questions? Christ, you're all well behaved.
Here's a paper which, this issue of The Light, which deals with the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Let's not make any mistake about it. The government fully intend to starve us. That's a weapon. The government is our enemy, not our friend. And this states, this issue of the paper, unfortunately this one's a bit damaged. Anybody who wants it can have it. The Hunger Games, government determined to reduce farmland. What are they putting on it? They're putting they're putting these solar panels on it. You might have noticed north of Winchester along Andover Road. About how many square miles? About what, 4 or 5 square miles are now covered with, not with they were grain producing fields until very recently, and now covered with these.
We've seen some horrendous. We got in when we were in. We was in Lincolnshire, 7,000 acres.
Oh.
Derbyshire, 12,000 acres and 10,000 acres. Lancashire, 15,000 acres. We got invited down months back down in Kent to go and see a new solar farm they were looking at. And we saw the guys yesterday in Herefordshire, so how are you getting on with it? They've now got 27 sites instead of the 3 they said they were going to do 6 months ago. They've now got battery storage going in, which takes up an entire field. And it's nonsense. You know, I just tweaked on your badge there.
Yeah.
Anyone at the green agenda,